I'm hearing some noise. I'm hearing some noise. I'm hearing some noise. I'm hearing some noise. Assalamualaikum.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Testing. Cubaan suara.
Cubaan suara. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Mesti dengar bergema. Hello. Hello. I can hear better now. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Alhamdulillah.
Yes, I can hear you
There's no
loud
more.
and clear.
Okay, can you see me? Oh dear. Okay, somebody's got a baby here.
Hi, Prof.
Hello. All right. Okay, Prof. Shabani, can I start? All right, okay. Can I get the audience to mute? Yeah, to mute your mic. Okay. Okay, can someone, can you mute, please? All right, thank you. All right, Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon to everyone, especially to my fellow magnetician. Yeah, I'm Hayati and I'm so pleased to have your presence today. And on behalf of Magnetic, I wish to take this opportunity to thank UUM, specifically the University Teaching and Learning Center, UTLC UUM, and E1 Technology for co-organizing this webinar with Magnetic. Just to share with everyone, Magnetic is the Malaysian Higher Education Teaching and Learning Council under the purview of the Ministry of Higher Education Malaysia. And Magnetic members comprise of representatives of the head of teaching and learning centers for the 20 public universities in Malaysia. One of Magnetic's role is to provide a forum such as this for discussions on policies and issues related to teaching and learning in higher education, And this webinar today is an example of many magnetics activities. I am honored to be the facilitator for today's webinar with the theme, New Tech, New Teaching in the New Normal. The theme is indeed timely, considering that most of the universities in Malaysia is coming to the end of the semester. And as we reflect on the journey of the emergency remote teaching that we went through, it is now time to look into what's next in the digital learning. Will we go back to the practice of the pre-COVID-19 days? How will our learning ecosystem look like post-COVID-19? What are the technologies in the market that could support us in teaching and learning in the new normal? And how do we embark on the new technologies and new teaching in the new normal? Now, to enlighten us on these important issues in ensuring that we carry on the momentum to move forward in teaching and learning, we have with us this afternoon 4 distinguished speakers who will share with us on the new normal in digital learning. They each have 15 minutes to speak, and they will deliberate on the topics of digital pedagogy, digital learning framework, and technologies in online learning. To our respected audience, thank you so very much for being here. We truly value your presence, and please do share your comments and questions in the chat area, and our speaker will respond to them at the end of each talk session. Yeah. So with no more ado, I have the pleasure of introducing our first esteemed speaker, Professor Dr. Saleh Abdul Rashid, the Director of the Center for Sustainable Academic Leadership Development, LEAD, University Malaysia Perlis, UNIMAP. So Prof. Saleh's passion is in education and human development, and he will share with us his take on digital pedagogy in the new normal. So Prof. Saleh, the mic is yours, sir.
Hello, everybody. Assalamualaikum and very good evening. Can someone just give a signal that you can listen to me? Oh, okay, thank you. Yes, thank you, Mrs. Moderator, Dr. Hayati from down under, not down under Australia, it's down under Johor Bahru, and panels of colleagues, and especially UUM. Thank you for inviting me to join this sharing session. Actually, UNIMAP is right on the north of the peninsula of Malaysia. I think everyone has been to Perlis. It's a very quiet place, and we are really on the north. We are focusing on technical and engineering programs. Then on top of that, we have 2 business programs and also new media programs. All right, let's get back to business. Prof. Hayati has posed a few of the questions that need to be answered later during our discussion. And I've been assigned to really share with you about digital pedagogy. In English, we call it digital pedagogy. I would prefer it to be called as pedagogy digital. Pedagogy digital. The main reason why I think pedagogy digital is a better word, because I think pedagogy should be the driver, and technology or digital should be the accelerator. And pedagogy should come first, and technology should come second. Or maybe hand in hand, both are really important. Let me share what we can understand with the words digital pedagogy. The word pedagogy itself meaning, right, theory and practice of education where we deliver digitally. So when we say digital pedagogy, actually the use of e-elements. E-elements mean the Web 2.0, flipped classroom, social media, bloggers and all things, to enhance or to change the experience of education. So when this COVID-19 or this pandemic happens, a lot of us at the beginning are struggling, facing this, especially when we regards to teaching and learning. So as we all know that we have never been trained, we were never been taught to teach like this. So everybody are struggling, and we keep on doing, sharing everything, doing a lot of online training and all that to make sure that the delivery of knowledge digitally still happening. And at UNIMEP, we are already finishing our semester. We are going to start the next semester in October. So because we started earlier, when using this online digital pedagogy, we started on the 16th of April. So we are quite earlier than some of the others institutions. So we are already finishing it. We are on the marking now. So back to the definition, when we use the E element to enhance or to change the experience of education, please understand that we are not really, when we say online, we are not just a mere relocation what is happening physically to into online. It's more than that. Then just replacing what is happening face to face rather than replacing it online. Because during our delivery of this digital pedagogy of this online learning, we also do some survey with our clients, especially the student and the lecturers, try to understand what is happening when they deliver and they learn through this digital pedagogy. So one of the interesting thing is about stressful. It's very stressful. It's very stressful. Meaning that online learning at the beginning is very interesting. Everybody like it. But when we want to know our learners and delivers, the thing keep on more complicating. For example, some of our students who have a very low band access of internet, they have a very stressful to do their learnings. Even the lecturers is quite difficult to do some what we call it as a guided learning or the asynchronous activity. So synchronously is possible, but when it comes to asynchronously activity, teaching and learning, so the lecturers even have some difficulties in doing that. And when we're saying about technical digital pedagogy, theoretically, the baseline is about constructivism, meaning that we are actively constructive the process of learning linked to the prior knowledge, meaning that when we are using digital pedagogy, there are three terms that need to be understood, that our pedagogy is in our control. So let we control the digital pedagogy, not the technologies that control us. So we are in control. We have to understand as a pedagogue, as a educators, when you are using digital pedagogies, you are in control. So the word is we are in control. And please remember that when we are using digital pedagogy, the approach is free. Free means free in delivery, free in whatever we're going to do. And the third one, the student-centered should be the center of digital pedagogy. So we are thinking about the student be able to do. So when we're talking about digital pedagogy, and Malaysian education is more towards the education outcomes philosophy. So the student be able to do should be the center of the digital pedagogy. And when we are saying about the student, the word socialization come into our consideration. So when we say about socialization, when we are conducting our digital pedagogy, we are approaching the E-tool from a critical pedagogy perspective. What we are meaning by the critical pedagogy perspective, meaning that we empower the student to learn. We empower the student to learn. We are empowering the learners to socialize in learning. So when we are saying a critical pedagogy and empowering learners, four key components should be coming in when we are saying about digital pedagogy. That is, the fourth thing is about collaboration. So when we are conducting the digital pedagogy or the class on the critical pedagogy, collaboration should be happening. When we say collaborating, the key word is engagement. So it cannot be a one-way deliver or the one-way communication. So it should be different both way or multiple ways. The second important things about digital pedagogy is must create thinking and playfulness. So there must be some gamification, there's something challenging, there's some problem solving, meaning that they have to do some thinking and playfulness. That should be the second important things about critical pedagogy or digital pedagogy, where you empower learners. The third thing that's very important is about focus on the process. Focus on the process, meaning that there is to be some incremental and development of knowledge, of attitudes, of understanding. That's the three important things about socialization. And I think the main things about doing digital pedagogy is not on screen, but through the screen. So you are not teaching on screen, you are teaching through the screen, meaning that you have to understand that we have to teach less, but the students should learn more. So when we are doing online, we cannot do it physically. For example, we have lectures, the 2 hours, you cannot do lectures 2 hours online. The student will get bored, everything will get haywire. So we need to really understand when we are using e-elements to enhance and to change the learning experience through digital pedagogy, we have to think about a lot of things before we really implement it as a face-to-face. And I just bring to your attention about comparing between the old norms and the new norms we are seeing about digital pedagogies. The previous norm, we really values assessment. I think Malaysian education really values engagement, assessment. But we are using digital pedagogy, we're supposed to value more of the engagement. The engagement, meaning that the socialization, the empower learners. So when we are doing we values assessment, we have to values at the same time of more engagement, meaning that we have to think about different kind of doing assessment, where we are more value doing assessment by engagement, meaning that maybe we have to focus more on alternative assessment, continuous assessment, not really like quiz or summative assessment. We need to do more on the formative assessment. The second norm that we can compare between the old norms and the new norms is when we say about the old norm, we are really doing the learning management system, the LMS. But in the new norm of digital pedagogy, we should be focused more on discovery. Discovery. So the second point about new norm is discovery. The first point is about engagement. The third things about the previous norm is we are really emphasis on content. But online, there's a lot of content. We're supposed to be focused more on building community, learning community. That's the third point. And this is quite critical when we're saying about the previous norm. Is the fourth one is about the outcomes. But in the new norm, in the digital pedagogy, they are more focused more on insight and realization. Or the Malay word is something that unsankarable, where you really discover something rather than you already have the outcomes, what you really want the student to be able to do. Meaning that students have to be more innovative and creative in their learning outcomes. And the other things is the fifth thing is about the new norms is about virtual self. Virtual self compared to the real self. So we have to understand what we mean by virtual self. And the last thing is the previous norm, we use a lot of tools. The new norm is supposed to focus more on the human thinking, the human thinkings. So that my fourth points. And my last point is about looking at our taxonomy, learning taxonomy. Most of us refer to the Bloom taxonomy. So we have to look at our learning outcome, meaning that we have to rewrite our learning taxonomy. I give you an example. Maybe on the top of the Bloom taxonomy is about creating and innovative, the C6, right? We call it the C6. But when we are doing the digital pedagogy, so the one to represent to be innovative and creative should be like blogging, podcasting, directing, or something like that. Or we are looking at a C2, for example. C2 is about knowledge and understanding. So rather than use the word to identify, maybe we have to use other words like tweeting, searching, highlighting, chatting, and all that. So meaning that when we go for digital pedagogy, we still follow the old norms, but we have to come up with new norms where the main thing is about a critical pedagogy where we empower learners with a lot of socialization and engagement to really provide the learning experience to our learners. Can I stop there, Prof. Hayati? Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Prof. Saleh, for enlightening us on this digital pedagogy. Right. So I would like to open for any comments from the audience. Yeah, I'm still waiting. Do you have any from UTLC? While we do that, I'm just wondering, Prof. Saleh, when you mention, you say that the old norm, I think if we refer to the F2F, face-to-face, I mean, we still want to have student engagement. We still want to empower our learners, right? So we still have all those elements, the critical elements of basic of pedagogy. But how do we transform that? How do we transform that now into this virtual environment? That is what I'm trying to, maybe I can get some clarification from you.
Oh, all right. Actually, when we are saying about digital pedagogy, the main player should be the student. And the learning occurs where a lot of asynchronous activities is happening, meaning that we need to really provide a lot of guided learning rather than we are in action. So when we say about digital pedagogy, our mindset is really thinking about our action, our delivery, but we are thinking about the learning part. So when we go for digital pedagogy, the main things that to be focusing is on the student. For example, when we're doing some assessment, a lot of some of the lecturers are trying to transfer from the physical assessment. For example, they're doing quiz physically, they're doing it the quiz online. But again, when we see quiz online, you need to understand the learners, because some of the learners have a low bandwidth and all that. And the other thing about doing assessment is when you're doing digital pedagogy, you need to have the concept of redo and realign, meaning that you have to give some ample time. You need to be really flexible on your deadline so the student can really redo and resubmit their assessment compared to what we are doing physically. So meaning that digital pedagogy is something you have to do differently, where you're still doing assessment, but you need to do it differently using digital or using online, but you really need to focus on the student. You have to know your learners, you need to know about the engagement and all that. And to share with you this morning, we have the meeting about this student result, and a lot of lecturers are really, really enjoying doing the assessment by not doing the ordinary one, the conventional one. They are doing a lot of this continuous assessment, alternative assessment, and the results are better. And the student enjoy it. Even the lecturers are also, they have something to discuss with the student about the assignment and all that. And they think it's really measuring what they're supposed to measure on the outcomes rather than you do just a summative assessment from Hayati. Thank you.
Yeah, but would that be requiring upskilling and reskilling for the academic staff?
I do agree with you, because as my first, I mentioned earlier, we have never been taught to teach like this. We never been taught to assess like this. So at the beginning, a lot of lecturers are struggling. Even the lecturers, when we say that, when you're giving the lectures, you just allowed to do the VC, meaning live video conferencing, just about 40% of your actual class. Some of the lecturers go against it because they're already familiar with giving all the lectures. So they're not empowering the student. When the student keep complaining, we hardly listen to you because we have a continuous classes, then already they realize that they cannot really take physically to online. So that's the thing, meaning that the lecturers also need to be retrained. You need to upskilling. Even the student also need to be upskilling in doing the new norms of learning and teaching. Thank you.
Hayati, can I ask a question?
Yes, Prof. Surya.
Yes, Prof. Surya.
Yeah. Okay, well done.
Prof. Surya, a bit louder, please.
There's so many things that they have in their plate, especially the pandemic comes abruptly. Yeah.
Right.
So we are too engaged with our conventional teaching and learning, but when the pandemic came so abruptly, those who are already IT driven, they have no problem in switching the way they used to do. But there are some parties that they couldn't able to cope. So when you wanted to ensure the constructive alignment should happen during online learning, how do you ensure the pedagogical part, especially to ensure the constructive alignment takes place, whether the activities are aligned to the course learning outcome, and of course, the abrupt changing of assessment, either formative or summative, are really aligning to the course learning outcome. That is something that we have to worry about, because we have so many things in our mind. One, I need to learn new technology, web tools, this one, that one, so many webinar. But do I really use the correct, the accurate web tools for my assessment? Do I engage with the correct activities so that it will align to the learning outcome? You know, that point of time, you might not think about anything to do with constructive. You are thinking about, oh, I need to deliver this because this is a topic. Okay. So what is your take then, Prof. Saleh?
Right. Thank you, Prof. Surya. I actually, these things come out during our implementation of these online learnings. So my suggestion is to my colleague is, because pedagogy is supposed to be controlled by you. You are the learning designer. So what we are doing now, actually, when we are looking at our table 4, where we're looking at the learning outcomes for every courses or every programs, we need to do some readjustment, because some of us, we need to, maybe you have to combine some of the learning outcome. And when come to delivering an assessment, we need to really develop what we call it a sound rubrics. So when we're doing some teaching and learning, we are ready to refer to the rubrics. So when we go for the rubrics, we less go for numbers and grade. We are looking more on the behavior part, more on the looking at what the student be able to do, rather than looking what the student be able to answer. So meaning that we are shifting from the all norms, we refer more on the summative assessment to more onto the diagnostic, to the formative, and also to the alternative assessment. So we are also readjusting our, what we call it, our delivery. For example, at UNIMED, we are really focusing, a lot of our delivery, our learning outcomes are focusing on the psychomotor part, because we are offering a lot of technicals and engineering programs. So technical mean the student we need to see the student be able to do it, right? And by doing it online, where we lack of control of the student, like we are in the classroom or in the lab, so we have to give some option to the student. So that's why we allowed we are offering what we call it as additional semester for the final year student or for the lab work. And we also need to adjust our learning outcomes. Like I say, we have to build up a new taxonomy, rather than the student be able to create, the student be able to forecasting, to be directing. So meaning that we need to really assess our learning outcomes that can be really manageable using this digital platform. But for me, I still believe that technology is just to accelerate, but pedagogy should be on the top of that. So that's why for me is pedagogy is the driver, the technology should be the accelerator, and whatever we are doing, pedagogy should come first, technology should come second. So like what you mentioned earlier, when we are doing this online, everybody are thinking about how to deliver on top of the pedagogy. So I think when we are really in front of the screen, in front of the camera, so it's different what we are really doing our delivery on the classroom, on the physical part. So meaning that I do agree with Prof. Hayati, we need to do some new norms of teaching, some new norm of delivery, some new norm of assessment. Where, like giving an example, like we really valued assessment before, now we need to really value engagement. From the engagement, we can really assess the student learning, rather than the assessment itself to see some engagement. So engagement should come first, assessment will come later. So we are more on the discovery, building up community rather than to deliver the content. Because the content, I think online is very good. You can get a lot of content online, but you cannot get the pedagogy online. The pedagogy should come from the lecturers or their teachers. Sorry if I cannot answer your points directly. Thank you.
Okay, I think before we move to the next speaker, I have one more question I would like to pose, to both, to everyone actually. What is going to happen post-COVID-19, come January 2021, when all the students are back on campus? Are we going back to the practice of pre-COVID-19? So are we going to move forward with this digital learning? So perhaps Prof. Saleh can answer me.
That's a good question. Actually, at our university, we already set up a committee. We call it a risk management committee, where we are looking at the post-COVID-19. And even our management are really encouraged, especially the theoretical programs where the courses, a lot of the first year and the second year courses were more on theoretical foundation. Should we go towards fully online or as a blended one? So we cannot go horizontally, the whole program to be digitally, but we are doing vertically, meaning we have to be selective in certain courses for every programs to be digitalized. Maybe by really embarking into what suggesting by MEPTA, where we need to go for the PTG, what we call it as blended learning, where we go for the 40-20, 40-40-20, something like that. So we are going towards that. So even some of the, we have 2 business program and 1 media program. So that is the main program they're going to change. Even university are encouraged to offer a new program where 100% online. So in our strategic planning, we have a target where by 2025, 50% of every course should be delivered, not conventionally, but on the ODL mode and the conventional mode. So every program should go for 50%. So I think the way forward is, I think we are going to move away from brick and rooms, and then we need to go somewhere digitally. By hook or by crook, we are moving toward it. The main things about Royalty is, the traditional university, traditional mean the established university, they really prefer face-to-face. But the newcomers, the new university, most of them are moving towards, this online learning. I give you an example like Taylor College and all that, So we whether we like it or not, we have to move towards at least blended learning. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Prof. Surya, any last comment from you?
Surya, unmute.
Okay. Maybe in terms of too engrossed in choosing what tools to be used for their teaching and learning. Importantly, when we design our courses to match to our learning outcome, we could never avoid of taking into considerations of constructive alignment.
Right.
So let it be simple assessment, simple activity, but we have to ensure that constructive alignment must take place whenever you deliver it, whether it's on the conventional base or on the online basis. So because when you did not consider your constructive alignment of your course learning outcome, there will comes to the end, it will be haywire. So sometimes different taxonomy has been used into certain CLO which does not match, and this is where you tend to put simple way, but at the end your learning outcome does not achieve. That is very crucial when we talk about digital pedagogy. Whatever term you want to use, you have to ensure that constructive alignment must take place, whether it's conventional or on the online mode. That is my comment.
Thank you, Prof. Surya. I just want to echo what you already mentioned about constructive alignment. I give an example for Hayati. You cannot really plan your lesson or your teaching as what we are planning today, the old norms. where we really have laid out our teaching plan for 14 weeks, where when they're doing digital pedagogy, what happened next week, refer what is happening this week. You have to plan next week based on what is happening this week. You cannot really plan 14 weeks, for example, as what we are doing before. So our teaching plan to be constructively aligned what is happening this week, and then we plan for next week. Because this week, maybe you don't have the line, maybe the student cannot come in the class, the virtually and all that. So you need really, when you're doing some constructive alignment, when you do your assessment, then you know what the student be able to do or not be able to do. So your next week's teaching plan depends on what is happening to this week. That's what we mean constructively teaching also have to be happening like that. You cannot really plan 14 weeks, week 1 what, week 2 what, week 3 what. You just can do that in doing digital learning. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Prof. Surya and Prof. Saleh. Prof. Saleh, for giving us a brilliant overview of the digital pedagogy. I think we had a good deliberation on that, and to see how we can move forward. Yeah, and to Prof. Saleh, there's no more looking backwards. Yeah, no more looking back. We're always going forward. Yeah. So now we come to the second session here. It is with great pleasure that I welcome our second esteemed speaker. He is Associate Professor, Technologist, Dr. Shabani bin Abu Bakar. He's the Director of the University Teaching and Learning Center, UTLC, University Utara Malaysia, UUM. He's actually the host for today, but nonetheless, we welcome him as our speaker. A man with a colorful background and extensive experience as an analyst programmer and system analyst in the government and the private sector. So Prof. Shabani's area of research interests includes software engineering, big data, cloud computing, learning analytics, and business intelligence. So definitely an authority in the area of educational technology. So let's welcome Prof. Shabani to share with us on the topic of digital learning framework. Prof. Shabani, the mic is yours, sir.
So thank you, Prof. Hayati. So our colleagues, Prof. Saleh, Prof. Surya, and Johnson, Mr. Johnson. So actually, before we discuss about the digital learning framework, or we talking about the digital, so basically, we try to understand that we have today. I need to discuss two things. Okay, the first one I try to discuss about the digital learning framework. Okay, and the second one I try to focus in the digital learning ecosystem. So they have two things that we need to discuss. Okay. So what is meant by digital learning framework? We can see that basically the digital learning framework, they consist of 4 components. Okay, the first one, they call it the learning and teaching context. Okay, and number 2 is we call it the process or the cycle production or delivery cycles. Number 3, we focus more in the digital learning ecosystem, and number 4, they call it the something like the policy and guidance. So what is meant by number 1? The digital learning teaching context means that something like we need to understand our university vision. Okay, so for example, we need to understand the university vision, mission, and we try to understand that where the digital can help into our vision and mission. So actually, we can see that this one maybe we can get the input from the accreditation body and the MQA and all those things. So we need to focus on that one. Okay, the second one is we call it the cost production and delivery cycles. Looks like if we can understand that it's something like how we need to run the program. So for example, we have the future-proof curriculum. Yeah, you can see that future-proof curriculum, they divided by 3 parts. Number 1 is the curriculum. Okay. So the curriculum, maybe we need to put something like the multidiscipline, transdiscipline inside there, the global, the industry, So at the same time, the digital should support that curriculum. This is number 1. The second one, what Prof. Saleh mentioned is the delivery. So the delivery is, we can see that's the second future curriculum with the number 2 is more in the delivery part. So the delivery part also, we need to understand which tool or something like what is the digital to support with the delivery. For example, we need to support with not the conventional or the face-to-face. So we need to have another, maybe the digital, maybe we need talking about the learning space and other thing. Okay. And number 3 is a assessment. Okay. So in the assessment also, we need to understand this is not something like the conventional assessment, or we call it maybe we use a pen, something like that. So maybe we need to focus in the more in the alternative assessment, but support by the digital. Okay. So number 3 is the digital learning ecosystem. This one I need to emphasize a lot. I will share one slide only to discuss about that. And the last one in the digital learning framework, they have the guidance, the policy, and that one. So we can see that basically, not all, maybe basically the digital learning framework should consist of the learning and teaching context, course production and delivery. After that, the digital learning ecosystem and the guidance and the policy and all those things. Okay, so now I try to discuss about the important thing, that the technology parts. Okay, so I can see that maybe Mr. Johnson from E1 also can know where is the tools in the ecosystem here. So I will share the screen. Okay, Prohati, can see the screen? Okay, so we can see something like this is the screen. They call it I think maybe in the digital learning framework, maybe this is number 3. Okay, so we can see that this is we have the technology, we have something like the software, okay, inside there. So basically this is something like what the digital can support the whole process to come up or to run the university, especially to run the program. Okay, we start with we call it the enterprise data integration. So this is more in the system integration and support. We can see that a lot of data. So for example, the student data, the timetables, they come from this part. Okay, so actually this data should support we can see this is more in the learning management system. Okay, so number 2 is a OBE system. OBE system consists of the program info, syllabus info. After that, the Prof. Surya mentioned that just now, the constructive alignment. So this is the process that we need to understand that this is we can understand what is the program, the cycle of the program. Include we need to understand what is the syllabus. After that, what is the student learning time. After that, how about the assessment? How about the level of Bloom taxonomy? And we can know now we have the MQF 2.0. We have 5 clusters and 11 subclusters. So everything inside here. So we can see we can come out something like the program, inside there. So the data should be there, and the skin of word also should be here. Okay. So number 3 is we call it the analysis survey engine. This one because we want to understand that what happened when we deliver. Something like the deliver in the program there. So at least we can see the cost evaluation. We can see something like the exit survey for the final year. So the tracer study, maybe we should have the data there. The alumni survey, the CBTM for educator. This one because this is a survey, we have the CBTM here, but of course we need to have the something like the survey. The survey part should be there. After that, we have one more, the student also. Understand that the CBTM not only for the educator but for the student, include the teaching portfolio and the student portfolio. After that, we have the student talent and the facilities. We try to understand the facilities in the digital learning ecosystem there. Okay, so actually this something like the data should be support, to understand that what we need to teach. Okay, so what is the program look like? What is the learning outcome for the student? So what is the outcome from the program? So we can see at the middle here, this is, we call it something like the learning management system. Okay, so the learning management system we can have maybe in the desktop or the mobile. You know, we can run through the conventional program, ODL, MOOC, SPOOK, or micro credential. But this is the normal function in the learning management system. They have the, maybe they have the library, maybe the finance the student, and the attendance system, the syllabus, the content should be integrated here. You can see that maybe the syllabus, we get the syllabus from here, and they can integrate the data, the syllabus from to the learning management system. What happened now? We have the separate system. The OBE, they have their own part. After that, the learning management system, we cannot extract the data, go to here. The lecturer need to re-key in the same, the syllabus, to re-key in something like the CLO inside here. Okay, so at the same time, the learning ecosystem should have the something like the, we are talking about the learning space, physical learning space, maker space. Actually, this learning ecosystem should support, you know, based on the what the OBE system need. So for example, this is the program more in the technical, all those things. So this physical learning space should support, because we can see the something like the clear picture that we can see something like the framework there. So this is the physical or maker space or anything can support the system there. Another one is the global classroom, synchronous or asynchronous. Maybe this is the synchronous, something like, you know, we need to have something like the place or the room, something like we do now, the synchronous, maybe we use a Zoom or Webex, so the student can teach by they have something like the place, you know, the proper place to teach. This is the call it the synchronous global classroom. And this one not only for the for our university, maybe that one we can link to other university, for example, the international university. Okay. Another one is this is something like another thing that's to support the learning the learning environment here. So maybe if possible, they can have the hologram, augmented, you know, virtual reality, gamification. But this is more in the technical or the hardware support. Hardware include the software and supported device IoT. I can see that's a lot of vendor, you know, especially in the market, that they try to sell this one. But the important thing that's, you know, we can say that one size cannot fit all. We need to see this one, the program info, the syllabus, something like the course learning outcome, the delivery method. So if you want to invest with this technology, we need to see the program and the syllabus itself. Is it that program really needs something like the virtual reality? For example, if the program really need the virtual reality, we can state it in the scheme of work. And where is the course learning outcome? How about the teaching method? How about the teaching delivery? So if the teaching delivery needs something like the virtual reality, yes, we can buy this software or this item. Okay, or this, we can see that these facilities, if this one cannot no need to support, you know, so maybe we can use another technique. Maybe face-to-face is better than use the virtual reality and all those things. So of course we need to see the course learning outcome, you know. So what is the PLO we need to deliver, or the student need to understand. Okay. Another one, we can see that's the learning contents. This is a very challenge for the student. Normally, we can see in our university, you know, for example, after the COVID, you know, for example, we can see that during teaching, they're using Webex, okay, using Webex or Zoom, you know, but they try to integrate with the learning content. But normally, learning content they deliver by using the PowerPoint, or sometimes they just, you know, they have in the, you know, Word document and all those things. So actually the learning content should be quality learning content here, So learning content here, something like the quality, that's mean we need to check the quality. For example, okay, the learning content we can divide. This is the first learning content is we can share using the, you know, in the university, for example. For example, we have 1,000 courses. Okay, so you need to identify these 1,000 courses should be supported by the quality learning contents. That means we have one sources of the learning content for the particular syllabus. Okay, so all the lecturer should use that learning content, because the learning content should design based on the syllabus, based on the level of CLO, based on the something like the Bloom taxonomy there, the suitable delivery method. Maybe they can use the Powtoon, sometimes they can use the PowerPoint only, sometimes they can use just a audio only, sometimes they can use a video. So this is the shareable learning content in the university and should control by the university. The second one is the private learning content. You can see that some lecturers don't want to share their learning content. So the ecosystem should have one place that this is the learning content belong to that lecturer, but that lecturer only can display or can use that learning content. So if the lecturer cannot access, the other lecturer cannot access the private learning content, but they can, this is you can see something, the shareable learning content. So we can see this is one of the problem, that when the lecturer come up with the learning content, but this is something like they don't want to share, because maybe they take 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, to develop, and maybe they don't want to share. This is one. This is what happened in the university. Another one, we can see that's the library. I think the library in all the universities should understand that now something like the invest, maybe we try to invest not in the physical book. Maybe we try to invest in the digital book or digital resources. We can invest in the digital textbook, not to buy the textbook. The textbook, for example, we buy 10 textbook, maybe can use by 10 student only. But if you purchase the digital textbook, and you put in the library, maybe can share by all the students in the university. So another one, the digital textbook only, the digital library should understand, should buy something like the other material of the resources. Okay. Number 3, this ecosystem should share, should link to the publisher. You can see that, for example, the John Wiley and the other something like the McGraw-Hill, they try to propose that they have the textbook, at the same time they have the learning content. So actually our ecosystem should link to their learning content, the publisher content. But we need to see, we can see that the important thing that the OBE system, because the OBE system, they identify already what is the learning outcome, everything, teaching method, all the things. Try to find the book is suitable for that content. Okay. Another one, the learning content should come from the industry or the community. Okay. So this is something like the case study, all those things, So that one, not only for this is, we call it something like the academic, but come to this one, this is more in the practitioner, industry, community, problem in the industry, So we need to come up with the learning content here and link with our learning management system. Another one, for example, we have the collaboration between university and university. For example, we have a lot of MOU. So normally, the MOU not only go to the university, after that do the collaboration. Another collaboration that we can do is we can share the learning content in the university. Maybe we can share, we can give the learning content to them. After that, we try to get the learning content from the other university. So another one is a question bank. This is a question bank. I put in the red color because of course they have the security and the proctoring, So we can see that the university want to do the online learning, online assessment, So so this is something like we need to the assessment should be in the bank already. Okay, so we can see the assessment also must based on the syllabus there. So we have the set of questions, the set of assessment. So the level of assessment, after that, we also have the question bank to support our assessment to come up with the constructive alignment. So we can see that the assessment, we have the formative and summative. So of course we need to control by the security here. So I can see that a lot of vendors try to sell, something like the technology, to support the proctoring, to do the online AI and all those things. But the important thing, we can choose the vendor, or we can choose the system, but make sure that is it that system suitable for our syllabus? Is it the system suitable for our CLO? So this is the important thing here. Then, of course, we have the web tool. You know, this is what maybe Mr. Johnson or the other vendor try to sell. You know, more not only the software but the hardware. You know, so the hardware should be here. You know, they will try to sell the robotic, the swivel, all the material here. And this is more in the web tool, Padlet, all those things. You know, so this is this tool should be support or should be integrated by the learning management system. At the same time, we have the, you know, something like the certification and badges, you know, something that we can see. And another thing is the attendance system should be here, because the attendance system, like Prof. Saleh mentioned just now, the 40-40-20. Now, before that, we are talking about the support blended learning. Now we are talking about the substitute. Substitute means we cannot based on the attendance. I mean, we cannot based on the 1732. We based on the particular student, you know, how they do the activity, how many hours, you know, they do something like the activity and the assessment, how they read the, you know, the video, all those things. So this is something like the we call it the digital should support the, you know, something like the graph or the indicator. Is it that student finish the activity or not? After, if they finish, they can give something like the certification or badges. So another one is this is the student portfolio, teaching portfolio, you know, and support with this is the questionnaire, but the questionnaire should be support the teaching portfolio here, and the educator portfolio. They have, the important thing here is the training analysis. We can see based on this environment, we can see something like the data, and we can know already, include the mark of the student. We can see also the, you know, the detailed data based on the data analytic here. So, and at the same time, you know, we can get the huge data based on the enterprise OBE system analysis and the learning content, you know, and the activity data here, the mark, you know, so we can do the analytic here. So at the same time, the important thing that system should be supported by the cyber security, or, you know, something like this is the normal environment for ecosystem, should be supported by security. Okay, this is my point, Dr. Hayati. So maybe I pass to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Prof. Shabani, for giving us a very, very clear picture of the digital learning ecosystem. And this digital learning ecosystem is a very critical part of the digital learning framework itself. Yeah. And it's so interesting that just now, Prof. Saleh focused on human development. Right now, Prof. Shabani shared with us on the infra part. So I maybe want to start off this question and answer session just to ask you, what we saw just now was like a dream, ideal digital learning ecosystem that, you know, everybody would want to have. Yeah, but what is this? You know, what about the IT infrastructure in our universities? Are our IT infrastructure ready for this ideal digital learning ecosystem? Okay. Because, you know, what the COVID-19 crisis did was, see, the crisis exposed the constraints, the limitations with our IT facilities and internet connectivity, right? So do you think we are ready, our infra is ready for this ideal digital learning ecosystem?
Okay. So actually, I just want to answer your question based on the two conditions. Okay. If you are talking about the IT infrastructure, we need to have two things. Number one, is it the student and the learning environment, you know, in our university? If in our university, we can see that, we can say that the student, the lecturer and the student can share the same IT infrastructure. That's mean, how about the bandwidth? Looks like, you know, we can say that's Of course, during the MCO, before we start the class, we divide the infrastructure, especially in the bandwidth by three. Number one is the good access, that means they have the good IT infrastructure. Number two is a moderate, and number three is a no internet or something like that, very very low internet. That means cannot support by the something like the learning ecosystem there. Okay, if you are talking about in the university, of course the university can control the IT infrastructure. If they can say that the bandwidth is low, and they try to come up with they want to pick up with one solution. For example, the questionnaire, I mean the online assessment by multiple choice online assessment, for example. So of course they need to study the bandwidth, the infrastructure, and all the student and the lecturer can handle, can do the process in the university. Okay, so this is, I'm not worried, but I'm worried if the second one, especially in the MCO there. So we can see that the lecturer not in the university, and the student also not in the university. They have the various place there. Okay, so this is we need to. That's why I can say that before we design, during the COVID there, before we design the syllabus, we need to design, maybe if you have the three type of the student, you need to design based on the three delivery, and maybe one assessment, maybe we take the lowest one. So I think the IT infrastructure, of course, after the post-COVID, the university should take action and to understand that I give something like this is a we can see that I give the learning ecosystem there. So I can say that maybe the university should invest with which part is important. So, but of course, all the parts should based on our program and our syllabus. Okay, thank you, Prof. Hayati.
Thank you. Thank you, Prof. Shabani, for sharing. Now, with system and with infra comes a price tag, right? Yeah, it's always accompanied by a price tag, the cost, the financial implication. Do you think post-COVID-19, the universities are more, or universities management are more willing to invest? Do you think that will happen post-COVID-19?
Yes, I can see that, after maybe in year 2021, I can see that maybe a lot of universities try to invest, in the IT, or the, we call it the ecosystem, includes, maybe they need to buy the virtual classroom and all those things. But the important thing that I try to mention, that anything we need to invest, but make sure that we need to understand the OBE system, or the course learning outcome, the program learning outcome, and the CQI there. You can see that, we can say that one size cannot fit all. For example, if you are talking, now I want to invest in hologram, for example. So looks like, okay, hologram, but that hologram, is it, they can relate with the course learning outcome? Is it necessary the hologram we need to invest or not? Because you can see that some course learning outcome is based on the maybe the traditional lecture only suitable to achieve the course learning outcome. That's why we need to see the program level, the syllabus level, because we need to detail we need to see in detail in syllabus and program level before we invest in the in the web device or what material we need to buy. So this is the idea there.
Prof. Shabani, I have a very good question from our audience. Mr. Ahlul Wulus, he's asking, what is the purpose of data analytic dashboard in supporting teaching and learning?
Okay, so we can see that okay, I can give the example. Just now you can see that I think tomorrow I give the example in CBTM, for example, competency based talent management. Okay, CBTM there. So CBTM, we try to, you know, we try to get something like the survey. We have the behavioral and the performance level there. Okay, so we can see that, you know, we need to have the performance. At the same time, you can see just now, you know, in our university that every semester we have the course evaluation system. Course evaluation, end of the semester, all the students need to, you know, give the survey, you know, give the survey to the lecturer. How about the course, all those things. Okay, the important thing that's, you know, the big data that we try to get the data, you know, to see that the competency of the lecturer. For example, in my department, UTLC, you know, for teaching and learning, we not simply train the lecturer based on the, you know, something like based on the we do the advertisement. I want to do training number 1, you know. After that, I invite all the lecturer. So without big data, we do something like this. But with big data, you know, in our department, we try to see the data first. Which lecturer is it? This lecturer weak in the communication or weak in something, you know, something skill there. So we focus and try to they call it the training need analysis there. Okay, after that we try to monitor the lecturer, not only the to monitor the something like the weak lecturer, but we can see also the you know, something like the champion, you know, champion. We can see based on the big data that we can see a lot of things, you know, maybe for the training and the analysis. That's why this system we try to relate with this BTM and the survey, all those things. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Hayati.
Yeah.
Let me echo what Dr. Shabani is saying. Maybe this can be a talking point for our next 2 speakers, especially our 2 next speakers from the industry. Can I say that during the MCO, we are delivering really a poor online courses delivery, and a lot of us are relying on basics and incomplete technologies. I repeat, a lot of us are relying on basic and incomplete technologies. So this can maybe echoes our 2 speakers because I think we are really looking at nice to have, rather need to have technologies when we are delivering our courses. With a small survey, we found that when we are conducting this digital online learning, actually we are dealing with you know, human understanding, meaning that we are dealing a lot with anxiety, we are dealing with a lot of discomfort, we are dealing with a lot of ambiguity, feeling confined and restricted with the technologies we are using in you know, in engagement during this online. I wonder our next 2 friends can really come up with something that really quality online tools, affordable and also accessible, and really can match our program structures and our learning outcomes. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Prof. Saleh. Prof. Surya, yes?
Yeah, I enjoyed listening to, thank you, Prof, listening to the framework presented by UTLC, Prof. Shah. I think question posed by Ahlul Wulus is something, what is the purpose of data analytic dashboard in supporting teaching and learning? In our case at UMK, we are moving towards the learning analytics environment whereby we have a huge and humongous data that we have collected every semester from the student performance. No?
Right.
So the learning analytics actually helps to see the trending and forecasting of our student progress. So I think that should be the answer, maybe some of the answers. But Shah has already addressed on CBTM because you're concerning about the competences need to be had by the lecturer. But when we look into student performance, I think learning analytics is a trending now. And I think it's something like very important for us to really make use of the big data that we have. And learning analytics actually can able to give a report, actual report to the student progress for every semester, because we have all the algorithm being stated since many years ago that during ICGPA, we have already formulated an algorithm to actually assess student performance on a PLO. We have mentioned about a lot of PLO, CLO, and everything on top there. So learning analytics is the trending whereby we're able to acknowledge the student, we're able to send to the student, we're able to give the student the correct, accurate assessment on their actual progress on the learning outcome. So I think that's one of the answer to Ahlul Wulus, I think, Prof. Shah? If you can add some more, if I'm right, if I'm wrong, please comment.
Actually, that's why I say, actually, you can see that, you know, our learning ecosystem, the learning digital ecosystem, we try to integrate between the LMS. After that, you know, you can see the OBE system just now and the enterprise data there. The enterprise data will, we put all the mark, you know, in the system there. That mark, that's what the Professor mentioned, that's, you know, we can come up with the, you know, we call it the web, the spider web. We can see that's which domain they are weak, which domain they are strength, not only for the whole semester, but for the every semester. And we can, you know, we can see based on the, you know, the PLO, based on the subject, you know. So that's why we can use the data there. Okay.
Right. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Prof. Shabani, for enlightening us. And also thank you so much for Prof. Surya for further clarifying on the data analytics and how it's used in teaching and learning. Both of our Prof. Shabani and Prof. Surya are both experts in that area. Yeah. So thank you so much. And also for Prof. Saleh for providing the arena for our next two speakers. Yeah, so we are very happy to have with us two speakers from the industry, Mr. Johnson and Encik Amir, who will showcase to us on what technologies are out there in the market that we can utilize post-COVID-19 era, and also to address the issues brought up by Prof. Saleh on how do you address these basic and incomplete technologies during the COVID-19 time, yeah, in us moving forward towards post-COVID-19. So let me first introduce to you Mr. Johnson Liu. Mr. Johnson Liu is the Executive Director of E1 Technologies Sendirian Berhad. He has over 20 years of experience in the IT industry. He's currently a consultant in the field of education technologies and IT infrastructure, and a key reference person for international companies wishing to set up private schools and colleges in Malaysia. So, Mr. Johnson, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Prof. Hayati. Good afternoon to all, everyone. Let me first share my my PPT. Okay, now talking about the COVID-19, I think it is really a black swan from the industry point of view. Is that we call it a black swan that have created a massive disruption to the entire world, and not only limited to the corporate, but also to especially to the educational field. So in this case, so the lecturers, those who are in the academic, and also students are trying to adapt to the new normal. Now, in my point of view, the disruptive force actually impacted most is on the teaching side. Okay, because we have to know that the entire educational sector started with teachers, started with academicians. So when they are facing the problem of don't know where or don't know how to start, that created a big problem. So my intention here is to share with all that are participating in this webinar about how I'm going to fine-tune or to echo what Prof. Saleh has mentioned just now, upskilling or at least we know something that could help us in handling the situation. So in this case, now let's see what is meant by the new normal. Now, the COVID-19 has caused not only man in the street, but to the small children in schools. Now let's see social distancing hats in China. Probably it didn't happen in Malaysia. So far we haven't seen anyone wearing such hats before or in anywhere in Malaysia, but that's actually happening in China. So that is what's happening in the classroom. Now, and I would like to take the example of what is happening in schools, because I cannot predict so well for what will happen in the tertiary education or to the universities or campuses. But let's see what have happened or what is happening in the schools, okay, so that we can, from there, we can derive something, or we can take this as an input to our policy making, in our anticipation of what is going to happen next. Now, okay. Now, the education minister has announced that classes to be split into 2 after the MCO. So that was the announcement made 2 weeks prior to the opening or the reopening of the schools. Okay, so that was the announcement made. So that will cause 5 to 9% of 900 students in the study own either a computer, laptop, or tablet, according to the education minister. So what's next? So that will be the new normal in our classroom now. Okay, as you can see, we have to maintain a distance between students and also with the lecturer or the teacher in the classroom. So that will be a wonderful distance among them, as you can see in the graph, in the diagram. And at the same time, we have to take care of those who are at home or those who can't attend classes, online teaching and learning. So we got to take care of them. So in this case, what's happening now, after the opening of the classroom, that's what happened. This one was taken only yesterday, okay, in a school which is quite well equipped with the latest IT technologies and all that. Now, classroom need to be divided. Teacher need to take care of multiple classrooms. So in this case, let me get an example of what's happening in the corporate world. So the buzzword now is we talk about the term O2O, meaning offline to online or vice versa, online to offline. So meaning that while taking care of students that are attending the real classroom, a lecturer or a teacher will have to, at the same time, taking care of those who are in the schools. At home. So that is what's happening. Now, let me give you the scenario. What's happening during the first day of the opening of the school? Now we see about 85 to 95% of the students attended classes on the first day of the reopening. That was a great statistic. But what happened? During the second or the third day, we could see that the number drops. Okay, some schools only achieved about 70% or 60%, but no one says that, oh, you must come to school. As long as students are able to produce a letter, a consent from parents, so they can stay at home. So how are we going to plan? How are we going to teach in this matter? This is very difficult for teachers. And I could foresee that will be the same situation. Now, let's refer to this. This is a teacher in the main classroom. All right, he's teaching with a mic, okay, probably with a web camera and pointing at him, and he is doing his action-packed and delivery of the classroom. And on the other hand, this is the teacher in the second classroom. can you see that? We can't see a teacher standing out there, but students are concentrating on the, on the big screen in front. So that is the second classroom that the teacher will have to take care of. Now, how about this? Okay, now, as you can see, now this is considered, or probably because of the you have someone that are watching them, so they tend to behave quite, quite obediently in the classroom. So they are listening to in the other classroom. So that is where, when we say O2O, when Prof. Shabani actually asked me about what is the meaning of O2O. So the simple definition of O2O is actually offline to online teaching will be the new normal in class. And students will be divided into multiple groups, either learning via online or face-to-face. Now, that disruptive force has made schools now doing this way, O2O learning. The teacher will have to take care of multiple groups of students. So how teachers can fit into this new norm with new technology? So they will have to take care of the pedagogical aspect, and at the same time, they will have to upskill and learn something. So something that could probably make the whole delivery of the classroom to be much interesting, to be much easier for students to follow. Okay, so how do they maintain their essential teaching style in classroom? Now, I still remember during our time in the university, some lecturers, receive a very, very good attendance from the students because they have got their very special teaching style, admirable. But to us, this is very important. You need to have the opportunity to maintain a proper and exciting and inspirational or inspiring teaching style in classroom. But with the new normal, how can you do that? How could you have an action-packed in the classroom and at the same time be taking care of students at home or online at the same time? So that will be the O2O solution. So we mean that this is new teaching. So today, so probably what I will do is that we are talking about synchronous learning. So it means refer to a learning event in which a group of participants is engaged in learning at the same time. So it doesn't matter where they are or what time would it be, cross-country, cross-cultural, as long as they are learning something at the same time. So we say that synchronous learning. So that is what we are taking care of this part now. And later on, Amir will probably tell you about asynchronous learning. So, synchronous learning, we call it an interaction between the participants, a real-time collaboration, exchange of knowledge and experience between participants, immediate feedback. So that is the good point, is that we can have collaboration and where we will receive immediate feedback from students. I think that is very important. And training happens on a fixed schedule. So that is the synchronous learning, where it seemed that easier for us to come up with something noticeable, accessible, and experienceable. So that is something that we could see. So what's next is that now, because there are too many of us have learned about the online platforms such as Zoom, Meets, and Team. So today, probably we need to learn something to upskill yourself. You need to learn more than that, because when everybody else is learning something in common, how to make yourself or how to make an institution to be jump out, to be able to be seen as different from other universities or other places. So you need to learn something new, probably a new app that could improve your delivery in the classroom. Well, in the classroom, or in those groups that staying at home or other places. I would like to also share with you this diagram of which, okay, you can look at it this one. So, let's see what is happening to, all right, so let me see. There was a very interesting topic that I would like to show with you. I think it's okay. So let's get back to here. Now, that is the scenario in the university, okay? Now, we probably will be encountering a situation like this because you have limited space, that probably either you stay at home, either you'll be in your own administrative room, or either you will come to the classroom, okay, or this is a lecture hall. So what you need to do now is that you will have to on the desktop in the lecture hall. At the same time, now, because there was a rush, that could be, now I'm talking about post-COVID-19, the same scenario as the reopening of the school. Now, after the COVID-19, there will be students attending classes. That's what I could say, because you can't force them to stay at home, because our students, they would love to meet up, they would love to, experience something together. So they will love to sit even side by side. So you can't force them. You will have to allow them to come to the classroom. So that will be the teaching place for the lecturers in the lecture hall. So what we could do now is that now by using an app, okay, what you need to do is that you have everything in a tablet or in your handphone, and you just open up or run a program in your desktop. And while you are entering the classroom, so you will just take up your tablet and you will just start to do the synchronous effort, to sync your screen from tablet to PC. That's what you need to do. So after you have synced your screen, so whatever that you annotate, whatever that you do on your tablet will be simultaneously shown in the big screen. So the big screen will be taking care of students in front of them, I mean, the students in the classroom. And at the same time, you will use Zoom, or you will use a Meet or anything that could transmit whatever that you are annotating to the students. So just like what is happening in the main classroom. Now, students in the schools. Now, for example, the teacher here is using a tablet, and whatever that he has written on the tablet will be at the same time synchronized and transmitted to students in a remote classroom, all right, the same written content, and also to students that are at home, all right, student A, student B, very conveniently, so they are using something, a tablet or a handphone. So that's what's happening. So all in, you've got to learn something, upskilling, and a tool that add on more experiential teaching to you, that is, that you can link with or synchronize with your laptop. So that is, talking about the interactive teaching role that could probably even help you to do virtual whiteboarding, interactive and collaboration. And the most important thing is that you must be able to grab students' attention. So that is what we need to highlight, getting attention from the students, because you will never know what will they be doing after they have muted, after they have closed the camera or off the camera. So let them to stay on, stay put. I think that is something that very important. And in order to maintain your teaching style, if you consider yourself an action-packed lecturer, that's going to be as attractive as as someone else in the Hollywood. So you need to be able to mobilize in classroom. So that will enable teacher to move around. Because as we notice, a lot of teachers, a lot of lecturers like to stand at the same point in front of the computer. So there's no room for them to move around. No specific application or technology that helps them to move around. And of course, you can have instant photo on any object, test papers or text paper, and so on and so forth. And of course, you can randomly select students to answer questions just by using the software, the application, and you can even to test them, online tests and so on and so forth. So let me show you how this could be done. Okay, so now I would like to make myself like acting in front of you. So let me stand up, okay, and let me show you how we can do the teaching. Okay, now I have synced my screen with the computer in front of me, and now whatever that I have is actually in my tablet. Can you see that? So that is in my tablet, and I would like to, okay, let me show you. All right. Okay, so I'm going to send now. That is how I want to do my delivery of my, teaching in the classroom. So taking care of students in the class, and at the same time taking care of students online. So what I need to do now is that, well, I need to highlight something. I need to 1, 2, 3, and move around with my, just now they continue with something that I would like to share with you. For example, the O2O. So I stopped here just now. Okay, now mobilize, mobility, and so on and so forth. Then of course, you can also make this a very small and tidy, and you need to add on something 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Imagine that you are doing this for students O2O, offline and online. That's what you need to do. Now, of course, with this software or application, we can do something like we need to, if you want to take a photo, all right, you need to take a photo. Now, say you want to share with the student of what is happening to the Malaysia ranking or something like that. So that's what you need to do. I would just take this. Okay, I will take this and I will minimal this thing and complete. So that is something that I would like to show with my students. I got to rub a little bit of what I've written just now, and I will highlight the points. So that is the ranking of Malaysia of 12, environment 26, connectivity 35, output 44 overall. So that is the ranking, that compiled by the Minister of Higher Education. So that is something that would like to, do. So, okay, so with that, I think I will pass back to Prof. Hayati. That's the short sharing of mine. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Johnson. I was enjoying the classroom. I was enjoying it.
Yeah.
On the mobility, yeah, and being able to think with people in the class and also the outside of classroom. Very, very interesting indeed. All right, thank you so much for the sharing, Mr. Johnson. Now, in the interest of time, I would like to go ahead and invite our second speaker from the industry, who is Encik Muhammad Amir Fitri bin Latif. Encik Muhammad Amir is the Sales and Marketing Manager of E1 Technology. He has vast experience as a consultant in the field of education, smart classrooms, and IT solutions for educational institutions. I think some of his notable projects include smart classroom projects for IIUM Campus Pago, UTEM, UNITEN, and many more in his portfolio. Now, he will share with us some solutions for content creation. So, Encik Amir, over to you.
All right. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And thank you very much to our moderator today, Prof. Hayati, for a wonderful introduction. All right, and good evening for everyone. All right. So without overdue, I would like to share my screen first. Okay, let me share my PowerPoint. All right, hold on. Okay, so my part is asynchronous learning. All right. So Mr. Johnson previously explained about synchronous learning, the learning process in a real-time interaction, okay, where a group of participants is engaged in learning at the same time. All right. Okay, asynchronous learning refers to the opposite, okay, where it can be defined as student-centered learning, okay, that use online resources to facilitate learning in different place at different time. All right. Okay, so easily understand that asynchronous learning we can define as student-centered learning. Okay, in asynchronous learning, we can relate with preparing the e-content. Okay, we can relate with preparing the e-content, e-content making, video content creation, e-learning material, and any similar term, you name it, yeah? You just name it. Okay, so asynchronous communication tools. Okay, in asynchronous communication tools, I listing the course management system such as University LMS. Okay, we have a Moodle, we have MOOC. All right, so asynchronous communication tool is any platform that can support online interaction and can do uploading and for student to access the multimedia. Okay, so is it important to have any asynchronous communication tools? Yes, it is important. Yeah, it is very essential for students, so students can study at their own pace. They can access the material when convenient or whenever he want, such as a video on demand. Okay, so that's for asynchronous communication tools. So we can define that asynchronous is closely related to content creation. Okay. So in today's digital landscape, it is very important to know how to create interesting video for your student. Okay. As I mentioned previously, in asynchronous learning, we can relate with preparing the e-content, right? So therefore, it is important for you to have a solution that can help you to create a video content much more easily, okay? But you can still deliver a big impact video for your audience. Okay, so what is it? All right, so here I am today share our solution that can help you this recording device, okay, specifically designed for lecturer, teacher, educators, trainers, instructor, or anyone that love to prepare a video content for their audience. Okay, so what is it? All right, so this is a micro lecture, yeah, a recording device that embedded all elements of teaching that you need. Okay, provide integrative man-machine operation panel, easy to carry, can record lesson at any time. So this is one of our solution that can help you in creating a video or creating a content in a video format. Okay, so this is the micro lecture, very handy, mobile, and you can just plug and play, as simple as that. So this is the recording device that can empower your content creation skills. All right, so let's move on to the micro lecture definition. All right, micro lecture is a short video recording intended to present information or particular subject in a video format. Okay, it includes one or combination of the image presenter, courseware, yeah, audio and voice, handwriting, drawing, users control to play, pause, stop, edit, and upload. Okay, so this micro lecture is a hardware that comes with the software that you can do some editing features later. All right, so yeah, we have this solution for you so that it's very easy for you to create a video. Okay, so this micro lecture falls into asynchronous learning. Okay, falls into asynchronous learning, which is to use it, you can just plug in the USB cable, as simple as that. And then we have two camera, which is the first camera is for you to capture your face, and then the main camera here to capture your visualize, your writing, your drawing, okay, to demonstrate your solution and many more. Okay, and also we have a microphone to record your voice, okay, to record your voice during your presentation. And then, as I mentioned, this micro lecture come with the software that allow you to do some editing, yeah, to let you to do editing, yeah. Because when we talk about creating a video, it's a very challenging, yeah. There's many process. You need to do some scripting. You need to do some editing. Then you have to go to the studio. So we know this micro lecture can solve all this problem. Okay, all right. So let's move to the application. Okay, the application. By having this micro lecture, it is hassle-free. Okay, in a short time you can create a video before you enter your classroom. Okay, so you can create a video to introduce topic for a discussion, to raise awareness on a topic or issue, to inspire with your story or idea, yeah, to present an image or provoke curiosity, and explain or do some clarification, okay, with support of writing and drawing format. So this is how you use micro lecture. All right, and then after the class end, after you end the class, you can create a video to follow up on a topic that you want to highlight, okay, that you cannot cover in the class. Okay, so other than that, you can reach students when they need clarification or explanation. You can form or create a video, a short video, okay, to explain in a video format. Also, you can so-called it helps with a problem solving. And after that, after you complete all the video, you can upload it to LMS, MOOC portal, and any platform. Okay, so you can also upload it in your YouTube channel and etc. etc. All right, so that is how you use a micro lecture. Okay, so this is how it looks like, the micro lecture. Yeah, I believe all of you can receive my PowerPoint and can see it. The interface of micro lecture, as you can see, you only need to command or to know 4 main function. Okay, as you can see, we have 4 main function: micro lecture, the whiteboard, the courseware, and also the desktop. This only made these 4 functions. You just need to command and master. So I can say this. This micro lecture is a very plug and play. Not require so much on technical skills or technical knowledge. Okay. Even some primary and secondary schools teacher also already purchased and giving me a very good feedback about this micro lecture. All right, so I would like to demonstrate. Spare me about 3 minutes. Okay, spare me about 3 minutes to demonstrate how this micro lecture working. Okay, so Prof. Hayati, let me demonstrate a little bit. Spare me about 3 minutes.
Okay, okay, no problem.
All right, so let me set up. Okay, I will change my video to the stop share. All right, so I will change my video first. Okay. Hold on, I will. All right, so okay, you can see this is the micro lecture that I just mentioned about it, micro lecture. Okay, so this is looks like it's very mobile and very light, and you can foldable, it's affordable, okay, flexible and affordable. And as you can see, this micro lecture come with the two camera, which is this is the front camera and this is the main camera to capture your writing and drawing, okay, like visualizer, okay. And this is the selfie camera. You can adjust 270-degree, okay. And it's come with the three lights, the face light, the main camera, LED light, and also extra light to support your presentation. All right, and it also come with the microphone to support your delivery presentation process. Okay, okay. Let me show a short recording video. Let me show some short recording video. Okay, I will share the screen. Okay, I will share the screen. Okay, so this is the software looks like. Okay, as you can see, there are tools at the right and left. Okay, and as I mentioned previously, you just need to know 4 functions, which is the micro lecture, the whiteboard, and on the whiteboard we have a 4 layout. And next you need to know the office, which is you can import and export your office, such as PowerPoint, Office, and also Excel file, and also the desktop screen. Okay, so it's a very simple and easy, so that and in just 5 minutes you can create a very useful video for your viewers. Okay, okay, let's start recording. So I will press a recording function. Okay, this is the recording button. So 3, 2, 1, and it will start recording. Okay, so today I would like to share with you what is the formula, or we have a question here. Okay, we have question here. Okay, okay, so let's say I throw up some questions. Okay, let me open another file. Oh, okay. Hold on, hold on. Okay, the PC is jammed. So let me open. Okay, so I will start my. All right, so let me do recording. Okay, I will press a record. Okay, so the system will automatically record, and as I mentioned, it helps you to do a writing. Okay, so this is a formula of power or energy. Okay, so all right, so this is how you use the micro lecture. Okay, I would like to show you the zoom in features, yeah, very clear. So let's see. Okay, so this is the kajian kebolehpercayaan dan keberkesanan aplikasi swipe dalam pengajaran dan pembelajaran. This research done by Prof. Madya Dr. Shah and also Prof. Dr. Sahandri and also Puan Nur Rafidah Zainal. Okay, so this research done by UPSI on kajian kebolehpercayaan about swipe in PNP. Okay, let's move to the page 14 atau kerjasama kolaboratif. Okay, pembelajaran secara kolaboratif telah menunjukkan kejayaan dalam peningkatan pencapaian prestasi pelajar berbanding pembelajaran individu atau berasingan. So we can use these tools to support my recording. Okay, so let's say we move to the whiteboard function. As I mentioned, we have a 4 layout. I can visualize my presentation. Okay, and I also can support by my supportive photo. Okay, and then we move to the office, which is our courseware, and we can show our desktop screen or desktop activities. All right, so when you finish your syllabus, you can just stop your recording and your video will automatically appeared here. And then you can simply editing, you can do a simple do some simple watermark, yes, okay, and then you can merge, upload, and do many more. Okay, this is the features that I just mentioned. You can put a watermark, title, merge, convert, upload, and many more. Okay, so I think that's all from my part. I pass back to you, Prof. Hayati. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you very much, Encik Amir, for sharing with us. Yeah. So again, thank you very much, both Mr. Johnson and Encik Amir, for sharing with us on technologies post COVID-19. Very interesting indeed. Yeah, on the O2O technology and the micro lecture. Right. So maybe we can have can I open this for some questions? Yeah, Dr. Prof. Shah, maybe? Prof. Shabani?
Yes. So actually we can see the question in the chat room there. So looks like no question here.
All right, maybe Prof. Saleh would like to make some comments. You opened up the arena just now.
Thank you for our invited speakers. We did share some things. May I say that the thing that you present is a combination between the tools and the apps. Tools and the apps, meaning 2 in 1. 2 in 1. Again, my main point is we are really thinking about we are being able to deliver. So we are using that tools or that apps actually to deliver our lectures, our knowledge, our sharing, and all that. So again, my main point when I'm talking about digital pedagogy is how we can enhance the learning and to change the experience of education through the digital lines. So the apps and the tools that been used are really to assist the lecturers or the teachers to deliver their content. My point argument is still about how we can really, we really teach less, but let the student learn more, where discovery, engagement, learning community, human thinking, socialization, on the critical pedagogy, where we empower the student, where the student can really take charge on their own learning. When we say about education 4.0, is about giving the opportunity, empower students to learn anytime, anywhere, how they like to learn, where they like to learn, and all that. I believe that apps and that technologies will help. But again, I still seeing that we are just really focusing on the teacher's part, the delivery part. We have to really take care when we're going online about where the student should be, because you know, we are still trying to stamp our authority in teaching and learning, where we should empower students to learn rather than we empower more toward the lecturers. So I think it's a good accelerator, but I think we need to really upskilling, meaning that in using the apps, we really need a learning designer. So the learning designer will use the apps and the tools to come up with a robust pedagogy that will really entertain and empower student learning. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Prof. Saleh. Thank you very much. So, Prof. Shah, maybe some last comments from you?
Prayati, I just want to understand that, you know, I can see that based on the, you know, the app there. So right now we more focused in the cognitive level. Cognitive, actually we're talking about the Bloom, you know, more in the, you know, C1, I mean in the learning outcome cluster, LOC1 and LOC2. So basically, we need more in the affective domain, you know, and the psychomotor, you know. So I can see there's a lot of apps, you know, they're talking about the first one, what the Prof. Saleh mentioned, that they focus more in the teacher, how the teacher deliver, you know. So how about the, you know, the engagement of the student? How about the tool that the student can interact, you know? So this is number one. So number two, I just want to share with you know, the application or the apps there. I understand that, you know, in year 2021, you know, a lot of university need to, you know, something like you need to see the new apps, you know, the new technology, all those things based on the new budget. But my advice, that's digital pedagogy. After that, we need to map, you know, whatever we want to buy and want to invest, you know, make sure that we need to see the program level. That means the program, the syllabus, you know, the learning outcome, and the PLO, and you know, we can see that in the syllabus and the learning outcome of the student, you know. So this is the important thing, because I can say that one size cannot fit all. Maybe that app is suitable for this syllabus and another app suitable for another syllabus, but the app should be in the student focus, you know, not the teacher deliver, but the engagement of the student. This is my opinion, Prof. Hayati.
Thank you, Prof. Shabani. So maybe I can let Mr. Johnson to answer that question on how about the students' engagement.
Before Mr. Johnson answer, I think if every student have that particular tools, each one of them, that would be nice.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Now, can you see the screen? An 18-year-old University of Malaysia Sabah student, Viviano Mosibin. So that has created a viral in the internet, in YouTube, and so on and so forth. Now let's catch back Kampong Sabah Nalang Pitas, some 200 kilometers from the state capital. Viviana would consider herself lucky if she could log on to her social media accounts or surf the web. We take her about the infrastructural, the pedagogy, and the digital framework and all that. Now come to the list is that learning is about a view in one's mind as to how you want to achieve that. So that is very important. So be it on the side of the academicians or on the student side, we have so much to say about. We have so much to quote and unquote. We got so much to criticize about, or even to give a lot of comments and all that. But of course, like when come back to these students, I think we learned something from her. So because some places they have really they are really lacking of a lot of all these proper infra and technology. So I think today it is really a good sharing. And then to me, at last, probably that is something that I could express my viewpoint. on the what does it mean by the truth of the digital technology. Okay, it's actually something that connecting cultures and exchanging ideas and seeing the real and hearing the truth. So if anything at all, be it a good digital tool or digital platform, or be it content or whatever. So if we could achieve the final goal of this, I would say that is good enough, because the future in the educational world will be flattened. You know, no boundaries, no cultural differences, no disparity, and no divide among the people in it. So that is from me. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've come to the end of our webinar today. Yeah, I really like to take this opportunity to thank Prof. Saleh, Prof. Shabani, Mr. Johnson, and Encik Amir. So I'm going to give a few last words from each of our speakers to highlight perhaps Prof. Saleh on digital pedagogy, Prof. Shah on the learning framework, and Johnson and Mr. Amir on the technology. So I'm just going to go very quickly around. Yeah. So we'll start with Prof. Saleh for his last words.
All right. Thank you, Prof. Hayati. I think we have a very good session this evening by looking at the critical pedagogy perspective, plus with the infrastructures and what the industry are looking at on this online learning. I think both of us have to work, hands in hands, meaning maybe we have the apps, we have the technology, but we have to make sure that the apps, the technologies should fit in with the, the basic thing about pedagogy, meaning it's where we're really thinking about our student. I think we have to scale vertically, where by having a good quality apps and by having a good infrastructure where accessibility is not a big question, and then affordable, and we can have a very good and deliver a very good quality of education. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that words of wisdom, Prof. Saleh. Now, Prof. Shah.
So actually, we can see that, I get the, the synchronous and asynchronous source from Meta, from Meta, that Meta already mentioned that which part is the synchronous, which part in the asynchronous. After that, they divide by, for example, the virtual learning, synchronous activity, and the, something like the assessment, So actually, we can see that map, we can map back to the digital ecosystem. That means we can see that, for example, you want to do the assessment. So we can map based on the meta source that, especially in the PPG, substitute learning landed, we can know already. And this is the apps. After that, what is the CLO? And they fall in which category of the ecosystem. So I hope that's all the university, be careful to purchase, something like the apps and invest to the technology. But one thing that we need to understand, our program structure, our syllabus, our PLO, our PLO, and all those things. So this is my word that I want to share that. I already agree that, the digital pedagogy should be in front, the technology should be support the digital pedagogy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. Shah. Thank you for that. Mr. Johnson?
Prof, yeah, hi, everyone. For what we have mentioned just now, it is the O2O in the education, online to offline. As we look back, what happened in the corporate world, we know that companies like Amazon and Alibaba, they are the big giant in the online retail sector. But in the past 2 years, that's what's happening. So I would like to share again this screen to you. Okay. Now, you see, what you will see is the Amazon offline store. what you will see is the Alibaba offline store. So no matter how it evolves in the future, pre or especially after or post COVID-19, that will certainly for the education, those who are the educational people to realize that you have to take care of both parts of the world, the online and offline. So once again, thank you all for giving us this opportunity to share some of our ideas with you. Thank you very much, and good evening.
Right,
good
thank you,
afternoon.
Mr.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Any last word from Cik Amir?
Before Chair, may I one words, Mr. Johnson. Actually, the true heroes of digital pedagogy is the one who be able to do it offline. That is the true heroes.
Okay.
Yeah, we agree on the online, but the true heroes are the one who doing it offline. So the O2O really fits the philosophy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you for the advice. Thank you.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, Cik Amir?
All right. Thank you. Let me unmute. Okay.
All right, thank you very much,
Prof.
Hayati.
Hayati.
It's a very honored to be here with every one of you and sharing my solution. Okay, and I agree with all of you that pedagogy first and followed by the technology. All right, and I hope education can be delivered better and easier, yeah, for all. Okay. And that's it from me. Thank you very much.
Okay, yes, maybe we can get one last words from the audience. Representative Prof. Surya, maybe?
Oh, thank you, Prof. Yeti, and all the panelists. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Right, thank you. Well, everyone has their own idea. Everyone has their own thought of how they wanted to share. Basically, I wish that there should be an hybrid of both the theoretical part and of course the practitioner. And of course, like from E1 panelists, you have all the tools and you might trigger what is PLO, CLO, and so forth. You know, at our side, we are the theorists and theorists into practitioner. We need to understand because we need to understand what tools to use because technology change every second. It can be obsolete within a day, within a second, you know. So of course the technology runs very fast. At one point we need to understand how technology helps us, yeah, so that both parties need to sit together and then we find out ways on how it helps into moving learning to be in place. And of course our main concern is student benefit towards all the new tools and the new technology upfront us. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Surya. I think Prof. Surya, really highlighted the point that we need to have a win-win situation. Yeah. All right. So last words from me. Yeah. As painful and stressful a time as this COVID-19 crisis has been, it is a wake-up call to a long overdue serious implementation of digital learning. It has shown the importance to be digitally literate, to function and progress in a world in which social distancing, greater digitalization of services and communications may continue to become the norm. So I would like to leave you with a quote from Oliver Wendell Holmes. Yeah? A mind that is stretched by a new experience can never go back to its old dimensions. Just like what Prof. Saleh has highlighted, yeah? There are no turning back to the pre-COVID-19 days, as we will not know when the next crisis will come our way. So the great thing in this world is not so much where you stand as in what direction you are moving. So before we end, once again, on behalf of Magnetic, I would like to thank our esteemed speakers for their valuable talk. Thank you to the awesome UUM team for hosting, and I apologize for the beginning of the session where I got stuck with my mic. Yeah, so thank you to the UUM team and E1 Technology for co-organizing. We hope that the partnership sparked between universities and online education industry may continue beyond the pandemic. Yeah, but most of all, I hope that the audience have enjoyed and benefit from the talks as much as I did. A very big thank you to all of you, the audience, for making this webinar a success, and to my fellow magneticians for their support. So have a pleasant day ahead, and until we meet again, cheers and Assalamualaikum.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you, Prof. Saleh, Prof.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof.
Well done, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Prof. Surya. Thank you, Prof. Surya.
We're supposed to snap a photo before we off.
Oh yeah, okay.
Okay.
Photo. Prof. Surya, please come back. So who's snapping the photo?
UUM, I think.
UUM, yeah? So Ina, I call Ina and see whether she's taking the photo.
Okay, thank you.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I don't know. She's supposed to be.
One more time.
Oh, she said done. Can I smile again?
Okay,
Okay. Thank you all. Bye.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.